Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 22 My Team Career Mode. This is episode number 43 today for the Monaco Grand Prix in Season 3. If you guys did miss the previous episode uploaded a couple of days ago at Imola, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one, because that was a very hectic one involving Hamilton and Verstappen colliding, a very chaotic sprint race with a near-miss DNF right in front of us, and then a wet and wild Imola where we went from dry to wet, and so much happened in that race. At one point we were leading, and sadly it ended in absolute tragedy as we were taken out. Much like some of our luck and performance so far this season, it's been a tough old time, you know. Sebastian Vettel, our teammate, is in the top 3 of the championship, only 1 point off the top with 47 points, and then we're all the way down in P13 with only 15 points to our name. It certainly has been maybe one of the most challenging starts to a season on this game so far. And a large part of that challenge has also been where the car is at. Vettel seemingly using all his experience from winning 4 World Drivers' Championships and just being in the sport for so long, using that experience to adapt to the car better. A car that has not received any upgrades since last season, as all our HQ facilities have been frozen. They've been shut down as we've been in debt this whole time. At the start of the season, our team went bankrupt from how we ended Season 2 into this one, and it's been a real challenge as we've tried to steadily wear away that debt to get back into the green and be able to open up our facilities once again. But at the end of the last episode, we saw the light at the end of the tunnel. We were under $400k away from being out of debt, and I can happily present to you now, we are officially out of debt. We are in the green by $1.3 million, and that only means one thing. We can go through our entire HQ facility section of the menu and restart every single facility. It is good to turn the lights back on. It's great to have the staff back in the factory working on our car once again, and now we can start to upgrade this car and take it from the 6th best car on the grid on paper on the R&D chart back to where it belongs, back to where we were fighting, you know, Red Bull and Mercedes last season for the top spots on paper and translating that onto the track. But ever since the beginning of this season, despite being bankrupt, we had enough money to keep the marketing and personnel departments open. And this lady right here at the marketing department, well, she's been working her socks off because we had something in the works all along, but it was on condition that we got out of the debt that we got ourselves into, that we're back in the green. Many of you maybe wondered why on earth Sebastian Vettel would ever sign for a team going bankrupt. Well, I'm happy to share the project that Vettel believed in, the project that is going to take us back into this championship fight potentially with Vettel, with our team, because I introduced to you Audi entering Formula 1. We've only gone and secured one of the biggest car brands in the world to sponsor and go into partnership with our team for the rest of this season. The lights are back on and the colours have changed to red, black and white because Audi is here in Formula 1. A plan that was always in place since the start of this season, but it had to take the proper steps. Audi would only come in and partner with our team once we got out of debt. Vettel signed to our team with us promising we would try and make that happen as quickly as possible. A 4-time world champion German driver now driving under the banner of a German brand. It is just meant to be. Vettel was persuaded to stay out of retirement because of this project that was in the works. He wouldn't have done so if it wasn't for this. So the car has a completely different look. Sponsors galore back on the car, along with a new set of overalls. A little nod to the heritage of Aarava Archer Racing, with the name AAR still in the team name and the fluorescent fluoro green yellow caps. but Audi are here, partnering with our team. And what amazing timing to coincide with such an iconic race, the Monaco Grand Prix, the place of special liveries. Well, we've got a very special livery here that is going to be the livery for the remainder of our season as Audi debut at Monaco. Now, we got straight to work and purchased some upgrades. And in typical fashion, of course, this is not still going to be an easy challenge to climb back up the order, because the first upgrade, an ultimate weight redistribution upgrade, failed on the car. It was going to come in time for Monaco. It's failed. We have to repurchase that. So we have to spend 1,100 R&D points just to rebuy it in time for Azerbaijan. You can see we've slipped down the order quite a fair bit in the chassis department. So that's going to be a massive improvement. And then a further hurdle, a further challenge, because our engine upgrade also failed. A major engine power upgrade. We're the last team on the grid in terms of engine power, albeit very close stuff, to be honest, with about, 6 different teams, very level pegging in the PU department. But that would have also been a really good boost. But alas, unfortunately, the first upgrades back on this car in Season 3 will have to wait until Azerbaijan. But we've made the purchases, we've rebought them after failing. But if you thought now that we're out of debt, Audi's in, it's now going to be plain sailing from here, absolutely not. And that's, that's just the proof that, of course, our first 2 upgrades fail straight away. And on the same race weekend, so many of the teams ahead of us have made some massive strides forwards. Red Bull with what looks to be an ultimate upgrade package into Monaco. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, Alpine, all bring upgrades. Williams and Aston Martin at the bottom of the grid also do as well. So even though this is going to be a special occasion, debuting the Audi partnership at Monaco, this might be a struggle of a race. I mean, to be fair, Monaco is one of those races where the driver can make the difference. Vettel has been on some insane form as of late, and I know we have been a bit out of form, but we usually can try and wrestle the car a bit further than when it should be around the Principality. So I'm looking forward to it, but realistically, we shouldn't be surprised if this is a bit of a struggle this weekend, because so many teams have made steps forward into this one. But it's just so glorious to not have a bare bones car anymore, and it's so awesome to have the iconic Audi colours and logos and just sponsors back on the car. And yeah, this car was always meant to look like this. Something wasn't quite right with a bare bones look, and now everything is as it should be. So we delve into our first flying lap then in Q1, potentially one of the most important qualifying sessions of the entire season. But I know the challenge is going to be quite tough. This grid is so competitive and just keeps getting more competitive as they make upgrades, basically. And, with this very turbulent season we've had so far of 4 different winners, some very contrasting, fortunes of luck, or, bad luck for other drivers. Focus levels, momentum have been all up and down for every AI driver. So it's just so hard to really tell what the form guide is going to be. But for us, that first flying lap wasn't that insane. We have to go again, but we get hit with some horrendous traffic by Schwartzman the Williams, literally slowing us down to like a crawl there as I actually push him through the corner. So this second run is still going to be an improvement by about, 2 to 3 tenths, but not ideal. There's still maybe about half a second there on the table at least in Sector 1. So we continue for another second consecutive lap, and we do find even more time. Even though the tyres at this stage very worn, we find about 5 tenths to get us up into Q2. Early form, though, is not going to matter, because Q2, the track starts to rubber up, and that's where the gloves come off. But the gloves stayed firmly on for Max Verstappen. Sonoda, 5-place penalty. Verstappen, last place at Monaco. His season is just going from bad to worse. But I reckon, you know, with Tsunoda's 5th place, I'm picturing potentially maybe there must have been some sort of blocking issue or crash, or I don't know. Maybe Tsunoda blocked Verstappen, because that's the only kind of logical explanation I can have for him having a 5th place and Verstappen literally just not setting a good lap time. It's not like he crashed out of Q1. So the misery season for Verstappen, the 2-time champ in this alternate F1 universe of ours, is just continuing, basically. The misery continues. He's going to be stone dead last, well, second last, because Yuki Tsunoda will be there for this Grand Prix. And with that now, we go into Q2, one of the sessions that has been contested for us, not been a formality getting through into the top 10 shootout for myself or Sebastian Vettel, really, but as of late, Vettel's definitely had a bit of a margin over us in this car in Season 3. First lap for us, I thought pretty okay. Ahead of Liam Lawson, the AlphaTauri, behind Ocon, but Vettel has gone quicker, I believe, and so now it's time to go out for our second run to try and get through into that elusive top 10 shootout around here, this very challenging circuit, and we're doing our best to gain time, but everyone is gaining time. And on our last flying lap here in this session, well, you can see on the top left, we're down to P15, so this needs to be a very strong lap. We've gained about 2 tenths in the first sector. You can see actually through every corner I am gaining a bit, so even though that first lap I thought was pretty decent, you know, and we stuck it up in P7, the track has evolved so much and the track has gotten so much quicker, it's ridiculous. So we're down now to P16, we're up by 7 tenths though, so surely this is going to be enough to get us through into the top 10 shootout. Vettel's up there in the top 10, across the line for us. Surely we've done it? No. Vettel up in P7, and I am left with my jaw on the floor. An absolutely ridiculous track evolution and speed from all the AI here today in qualifying. I'm in P16, 1.4 seconds off the McLaren of Gasly at the top there, 9 tenths off my teammate Vettel. So the struggles continue, the scratching of the head continues this season as Vettel will get through. Albon just about gets through, so despite bringing quite a hefty upgrade for Red Bull this weekend, they're struggling. Maybe potentially just their drivers having quite low focus after a few, unideal races, of course, by having a quick car on Saturday, but just having the opposite on the Sunday, and, you know, very much like what Ferrari were last season. Speaking of, Piastri just about gets knocked out, Leclerc gets through, the 2 Mercs, Alpines and McLarens, and Sainz is Haas. So it's going to be interesting to see how that top 10 goes. But for us, it's going to be a very difficult first part of the race. P16 with all the work to do. Not the most ideal start to the Audi partnership, but there's plenty we can do in the race, hopefully. Vettel showing the car has more pace. We just need to try and extract it when it comes to race day.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, and don't expect to see much overtaking here today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Ocon, Sainz, Albon, Vettel, and Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Russell, Drugovich, the owner-driver, Théo Pourchaire, and Kevin Magnussen, Schwartzman, Stroll, Verstappen, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
So it looks like we have a mammoth task ahead of us. Meanwhile, in the world of McLaren, well, they'll be very happy. A front row lockout at Monaco. They are going from strength to strength, it would seem, getting stronger. Gasly winning both races at Imola. That's going to be a real confidence booster for them on Saturday, but they need to get the job done today, and that's going to be a bit striking some fear into their rivals' eyes, because you've got Verstappen at the back end. Every single point and position in the top 10 so highly contested. For them to be 1-2 here at a place where qualifying is so crucial, this could be a big race for McLaren and a big race for the championship. For us, it's the first race with the Audi partnership. Vettel has done a very, very solid job. For us, not so much in qualifying, but looking to make up some places in the race. It will be a bog standard one-stop, medium to hards. I think the Mercedes opting to start on the hard compound as the only team trying a bit of a different way, so who knows how that's going to go. I'm hoping that we can make a couple of overtakes at the start here, and then, well, it's going to be about trying to get the elbows out and trying to be as aggressive as possible. Some of these overtakes, that's overstepping the mark. But here we go then to 5 red lights. The duel in the Formula 1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix, is underway. It's a good start for us, but we have to be patient in the run down to turn 1, try and find that space and follow Bottas through, actually, in the Alfa Romeo. We make an overtake then on Drogovic and Russell as he gets by Pourchaire. We just can't quite get past Schumacher on the run up the hill, but let's see if we have a chance potentially at Mirabeau, as everyone is going to bunch up. So as we run down this crest, they move to the left, we go to the inside, stick our nose in, get very close to Lawson's rear end, but we make the move on Schumacher, crucially into the hairpin, and Verstappen's out! Oh no! It is a disaster! Oh, Verstappen's season, honestly, is going in the bin so far. He just cannot catch a break. Virtual safety car deployed, no full safety car, so that's a bit odd at Monaco. So it must have been a very light kind of crash to get him out of the Grand Prix. And let's see what happened as we ride on board with the two-time champion Max Verstappen. Won in Season 1, but in Season 3 here, well, he's just crashing out the Grand Prix in a very undramatic fashion on the back end of the Williams, and Tsunoda got caught up in it. I don't think Tsunoda caused that, because it looks like Verstappen just misjudged how everyone's bunching up, and actually, if anything, Verstappen actually causes Tsunoda then to have some damage because he gets held up. And then meanwhile at the sharp end, we didn't catch any of it, but this is an electric start from Lando Norris to get ahead of Pierre Gasly. The McLaren's just banging tyres ever so slightly into turn 1. Gasly down to P2, followed by Leclerc. Sergio Perez in the Alpine ahead of Hamilton, the reigning champ from Season 2 in the Merc. Sainz, then you've got Esteban Ocon. Albon, who actually made a really good start, actually, and goes down the inside of not one but 2 cars, maybe, as we momentarily rode on board with Vettel, but we had to go back to Albon's POV for that action. So he actually made an overtake in the Mirabeau in the same fashion that I did, and then Piastri in the other Ferrari, whilst Leclerc was up there in the top 4, Piastri actually broke his front wing on the back end of Vettel. So Piastri's weekend is not getting any better. It's a front wing change for him and onto the soft compound of tyres. Meanwhile, back to our POV, away from the replays, the live action. The virtual safety car is now ending, and we are looking at the back of Liam Lawson, the podium sitter. Remember, he got a fantastic podium at Imola in his debut season in Formula 1, but we're going to show him the ropes as we go down the inside at Mirabeau to make another overtake. So far we're loving that area of the circuit. Definitely seems like one of my strongest areas of the track. versus the drivers this season in Season 3. And now we're only one position away from the points-paying positions. Bottas up the road. Lap 3, we're trying to hunt him down. Vettel just ahead of him. So once we get Bottas, then I don't know. From then on, maybe it's going to be more of a difficult race because potentially P9 and 10 is around the region where our car actually is in terms of pace. But Bottas is struggling for grip out there because he's really wringing the neck of the Alfa Romeo and having a few twitches. But through lap 3, at the end of the lap, we just can't get close enough to make any sort of dive bomb at Rasgas. We're going to try now stick with him through the final corner. DRS is available, but annoyingly, he's got DRS off Sebastian up ahead, so that will help him out into turn 1. So we have to go again. It takes us a 2 whole another laps to lap 6 to now be right up his gearbox, and we're going to have to go for this one because I can't get stuck behind him any longer. And we actually make a very successful third overtake at Mirabeau. That is officially, potentially, maybe my new favourite corner around Monaco to make a move. In games gone by, it's been Rasgas, but Mirabeau seems to be the place we're finding happy hunting grounds. But now we're into P10, and I fear this is where our car is around this circuit on the grid in terms of R&D terms. Vettel P9, Ocon ahead, then Albon P7 having made that early overtake on lap 1. Sainz, Hamilton, Perez in the top 4 doing very well for Alpine. Leclerc also in the Ferrari in P3, to be fair, doing a sterling job. But Lando Norris, he is dominating this one, pulling away by 1.7 seconds to Pierre Gasly. So Lando overtaking Gasly early on at turn 1 on lap 1 and hasn't looked back at all. And now we move on to lap 12, so a fair few laps into this first stint. And we're not, well, we're within DRS, but we're not really getting anywhere near making a move on Sebastian quite yet. Lap 13, though, finally on the run up the hill, using quite a bit of ERS, as you can clearly see. We're down to 14%, so using a lot of battery to get this close, but not close enough to make a move at Mirabeau. And of course, it is my teammate, so we need to be a bit more careful. I'm not going to want to stick an elbow out as much as I would maybe, you know, do with other drivers, because he is my teammate. The first rule in Formula 1, don't crash with your teammate, don't trip over each other. It's something that obviously did happen to us last season with Albon at Singapore, remember, and tension started to rise a little bit. And then, you know, since that point in the season, in Season 2, that's where Albon actually fell off a cliff in terms of focus and momentum. Clearly now, though, in this new season, back at the parent, you know, team of Red Bull, he's got a new lease of life. But, you know, Vettel's done such a monumental job for us. But that individually means that I, as a driver versus my teammate, I'm very hungry to score some points over him, to bridge that gap and try and kind of re-kickstart my season in a way after 2 0-points finishes, which has been, you know, it's been a bit of a tragic start to this season. We need something to get us going a bit, and we are getting so close, and Vettel is starting to struggle maybe on these tyres. We have been pushing him through these corners, through Casino Square, Mirabeau, the hairpin, now through the tunnel. We've got a great run using ERS. We dive down the inside of Vettel. We're going to get so close. He's going to cut the corner to try and make it still, and we're going to be side by side. Bit of contact made, but we will get up into P9 as we go through to back. Vettel has to give way. He tried to fight that as much as he could, obviously so, because at the moment he's got superiority in the team, but eventually he has to give way. I think we have a bit more pace than him now, because even though he may have the overall 1-lap pace over me, I think he's not protected his tyres as much as myself, and he's struggling a bit more than me. But although saying that, on lap 16, only 2 laps later, I'm going to say to box in this lap, because I can tell versus the Alpine that I was losing some time. Vettel stayed very much inside 1 second of me, so we're going early onto the hard compounder tyres. Not too early, you know, literally this next lap probably some people will be coming into the pits, but you know, obviously on this game we know the tyre warm-up, like in real life, is very challenging, especially on the hards around a street circuit. So let's try and warm up these tyres, fire them up in ready for that turn 1, basically, when we're coming through and others are doing this very thing coming through the pit exit, and we can try and maybe, I don't know, close the gap a little bit on the Alpine. You know, maybe wishful thinking, but we'll see. And at the end of this same lap, the leader is going to think the same thing about firing up those hard tyres versus his competitors. Lando comes in from a 7-second lead of this GP, I might add. So he's doing an insane job right now. McLaren will be happy with the 1-2, but now the first round of pit stops have begun then officially with the leader in, and Leclerc has slammed into the wall there to back, and the Mercedes of Russell just about misses him, and the cars are flying in at high speed, and I think that's the Haas of Mick Schumacher caught up in it. Carlos Sainz also gets caught up, but goes through his teammate due to the ghosting system. But it's a massive mistake in his home Grand Prix, and Leclerc continues to not have any luck at Monaco in real life or in the F1 game. Yellow flags. I think the full course safety car is out. You can see it on the little screen dashboards around the track. The marshals waving yellows, and that is going to play into the hands of our rivals, the cars around us, and Sebastian Vettel, because if you come through turn 1, Vettel and a load of other drivers have gained time by being in the pit lane already whilst the safety car came out. Vettel's up into P6 ahead of Sainz, Lawson and Russell. Honestly, this season, Sebastian Vettel, he's getting like strokes of luck that, like, you know, rival the luck I've had as a player before in previous career mode seasons. Vettel, things are just coming towards him because he's gained 3 positions there. We've effectively lost positions because we were ahead of Russell in this race, and now we're behind him. Gasly's in now under the safety car, but he's going to lose position and track position because Hamilton will take the lead now. He is yet to pit. Russell did pit. He's on mediums now, but Hamilton, he has to pit still, but now he's really going to get screwed over here because everyone's going to bunch up. Really, to be honest, they should have just brought him in and gone for the long haul on mediums like Russell. I don't know why they haven't. So Hamilton will lead this safety car train from Norris, Albon, who's yet to pit, and this is why the safety car's out, and this is why Schumacher is also out. It was actually Perez that technically pushed him into Leclerc's car a bit. Perez comes away with just front wing damage, but Leclerc's out, Schumacher's out. Bit of a shame after he did so well at Imola. Sainz counts himself lucky about ghosting through, but Perez is now down the order as well as a couple of others. So Ocon now is the Alpine in the top 5 behind those McLarens, Albon and Hamilton. And here we are in P10 looking at the back of a car that we had already overtaken in this race once, and now we have to do it again because Russell jumped us and he's on the medium tyres as well, so he's going to have some pretty good grip. But on this lap the tyres are still warming up, and into the hairpin we have a little look around the outside. Could we pull off a blinder as I try and overtake someone round the outside at the hairpin, the slowest corner in Formula 1? It was a bit too good to be true because Russell squeezes us out. We just don't have the traction there, but clearly off the safety car, the tyres aren't warm enough yet for Russell to, just pull away from us on the medium tyres. And to be fair, he's got an AlphaTauri of Lawson holding him up. That's massive for us. So Lawson's going to help us, kind of push Russell towards us. But that also means we need to get 2 overtakes done pronto, as Hamilton now, lap 23, comes in. Albon as well. I don't know why Red Bull didn't pit Albon because he was on the mediums. He had even less of an excuse than Hamilton not to come in. So both of them will go down the order. So it's going to be another shocking race for Red Bull and another quiet one for Lewis Hamilton as he is down to P17. Albon P18. McLaren re-established their 1-2 from Ocon. Vettel now in P4. Sainz 5th. Lawson leading this train of Russell and then myself, as I am now getting a bit frustrated and looking to try and find the way past both of them. In normal circumstances and clean air, Russell would have the grip to pull away, but Lawson is keeping him there, and he's going to keep him there enough that at Mirabeau we've gone for it. It's a bit of a late ascend. We go down to neutral gear. We go side by side into the hairpin. I have to actually finish the move off at the hairpin. Such is the grip levels of those mediums. So we've got the move done just about by the skin of our teeth, and now we're going to have to look to try and overtake Liam Lawson up ahead to put a car between ourselves and the Mercedes on the medium compound. Up ahead, though, bit of a train forming because someone's in the pits. Look at the mini-map. A McLaren is in. Is it Lando? No, it's Pierre Gasly. Gasly's in. He must have got some damage somewhere. I don't know, maybe attacking Lando or just trying to push to keep up with his teammate or what, but he's got some sort of issue because he wouldn't be coming in for any other reason apart from damage. So obviously remember, sim damage here in this series since the beginning of the game can affect the AI just as much as myself, and that's why I'm being very cautious getting up behind Liam Lawson because, you know, I didn't have actually the momentum to go on the inside. We actually had momentum to hold the left-hand side on the racing line into Mirabeau, but Lawson shut the door and we are being very wary, but I'm sensing that AlphaTauri does not have the overwhelming downforce and grip that we do, and we've got to run on the AlphaTauri in the same way we did on Vettel earlier on the race. It's a dive down the inside, but the AlphaTauri's a bit further into the corner and he keeps position. We're going to make contact 2 different times on the entry and exit of that chicane section, and the AlphaTauri stays ahead annoyingly. Lap 29, 10 laps to go. This is crucial for us to get by because I'm wary of Russell eventually having enough grit to overtake us, and finally, after a long while, we execute a perfect Raskas dive bomb and make the overtake up into P5. That was exquisite. No contact made, sweet as you want, slowed down perfectly at the apex and got it done on the inside, and now we can just look forwards rather than backwards because Lawson will continue to hold up Russell this entire race. And so we go on now all the way 10 laps later to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Norris with a commanding 12-second gap to Ocon because of Gasly's pit stop, though. Sebastian Vettel, he's on for another podium in our car. This is the fairy tale beginning of the Audi X Vettel partnership here. The German driver is going to get a podium in the German branded car now. Sainz P4, just like Vettel, continuing to actually quietly be very consistent in this season. We're P5. I want to add, this is going to be our highest finishing position so far this season. It doesn't even feel like we've had a very good race, but this will be our best race result so far. Such is how much of a challenge this season has been for us to adapt to this situation and this car and everything that's come with it. Lawson continues to hold back Russell. It's 8-9 for the Alfa Romeo team. They'll be very happy with that. It's another points finish for them, and Magnussen doing a stellar job to make the most of everyone else's trip-ups to be in P10 because Hamilton, Albon and Gasly Perez down P15 to 19. It's another race where some big names are way down the order with Leclerc and Verstappen also adding to the list with a DNF, but it's this man who has been the master of Monaco. Lando Norris wins the Monaco Grand Prix and he has dominated this entire race. It's a 5th different winner of Season 3, but McLaren win back-to-back races, which will be very comforting for them. Vettel will get another podium for our team as we come through for P5, which, yeah, like I said, somehow, this is our best race result of the entire season so far. So I've got to be happy with it, but I'm also not because it shows how tough of a time we've had so far in Season 3.
A beautiful performance from McLaren today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium.
It's a stellar win for Lando Norris. To be fair, I didn't mention Esteban Ocon, though, also, you know, picking up the pieces of Perez having a front wing off. He's done very well in the Alpine to get a podium. So Alpine are, you know, they're building a bit of momentum there, you know, trying to work away. They just need some consistency over the season to actually properly score, you know, big points and kind of join McLaren on their rise to the top of the grid right now. Vettel, though, another podium. insane. And with other people tripping up, Gasly no points, Albon no points, Leclerc no points, it means that with this third place, I think Vettel retakes the lead of the championship by a decent margin, actually, if the maths is going to be correct. But an insane podium there for us. P5 from P16. That's actually really, in reality, a really awesome Monaco race. So I said it wasn't a good one for us. Actually, in hindsight, from P16, I've got to be ecstatic with P5, to be honest, and it's our highest position of the season so far. But Sebastian Vettel, he is well and truly being reignited in our team because he leads the championship by 14 points. And it's not like a fluke now. You know, our car is no longer bankrupt, bare bones, and we've got upgrades for the first time on the way at Baku. So, you know, this is a serious threat for everyone, for myself even. Vettel, he is in fine form, and with a better car, you gotta say, like the V8 era, is he just gonna get better and better? Who knows? The McLarens are there though, Albon still in it, you know, so many people still in it, Sainz, Leclerc, even Perez, you know, it's so fine with those points differences. It's all to play for. It's still so early in the season on round 5. In the constructors, McLaren lead the way, but we march up the order only 9 points behind. So, you know, if we can pull our socks up and start scoring as many points as Vettel, I think we can actually probably do very well in the constructors this season. It's just about if we can do anything to stop Sebastian Vettel and bridging that monumental, unprecedented gap of 37 points to our teammate. You know, this really has been, in memory, the slowest start to a season I've had. When, you know, in terms of like a season 3. Obviously in season 1 of every game, of course, the car's not there. But the car, clearly in the hands of Vettel, has been good enough to get him 62 points. And for us, we've just not managed to do that. There's that disconnect. He's been quicker than us in quali. He's just been there in the right positions to gain the luck in the races that we have not. You know, it's we've got some homework to do. But that's the beauty of the F1 game. Season to season, it is different. The challenges are different. And we've kicked off this new partnership with Audi in a really great way with a podium with Vettel. Guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, smash that like button. Are you excited about this Audi partnership? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.